This is a story about a pie. Not just any pie, mind you, but a very special pie that smelled absolutely divine. And it's also about a boy who learned an important lesson about listening to elders. Mart loved when his grandpa came to visit. Not only did he bring funny hats, wacky glasses, and colorful socks, he also brought his famous blueberry pie. But today was extra special because Mart was turning 8 and his grandpa had promised to make him a pie from scratch. So while his grandpa was rolling out the dough, Mart peeked into the bowl of batter. "Can I have a taste?" "Not yet," his grandpa said with a wink. "You have to wait until it's baked," but the aroma wafting through the house was simply too good to resist. So while his grandpa was fetching the blueberries, Mart snuck another peek. The pie was golden-hued and bubbling merrily. It looked so yummy, and Mart couldn't wait any longer. He reached in and grabbed a big spoonful of pie filling and ate it right off the spoon. It tasted delicious. Then Mart's grandpa returned with the blueberries and he gasped. "Did someone take a pie sample?" "Me," Mart said innocently. I didn't see anyone else do it." Grandpa sighed. "You know, it's not ready yet. Wait till it's baked." Okay. Mart crossed his arms and pouted until his grandpa put the lid on the pie pan and placed it in the oven. Then he set a timer and said, "It'll be ready soon, but in the meantime, how about we get your present out of the mystery box?" The mystery box was filled with all sorts of gadgets and gizmos. Some of them worked and some didn't. But Mart didn't care because his grandpa always made the mystery box more fun than any ordinary present. Today's treasure was a pair of goggles. "Wow, these look cool," Mart said, although he had no idea what they were for. "Put them on," his grandpa instructed, so Mart slipped the goggles on his face. They were slightly uncomfortable, but when he looked through them, everything looked fun and exciting. "What are these for?" he asked. "You'll find out later," his grandpa replied mysteriously. "Now go outside and play until it's time to bake." So Mart went outside. It was such a beautiful day. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and Mart was full of energy. He pulled out his skateboard and zoomed down the sidewalk. He tried to do a kickflip, but he wasn't quite good enough yet. And then he saw something shiny in the bushes. He walked over and found a shiny rock. "I wish I had a real treasure," he sighed. And then he remembered his grandpa's goggles. He put them back on his face and looked around. Whoa, everything looked magical. The houses looked like castles, the trees looked like giants, and the birds looked like tiny fairies. Mart felt like he had entered another world. "This is incredible," he whispered. "I wish I could stay here forever." And then he noticed something strange. The ground looked as if it were made of pie. "What?" he gasped. Was that really pie? He reached out and poked it. Thump, thump, thump. It was hard, but it did look like pie. So Mart sat down and started eating it. 1 bite, 2 bites, 3 bites. It was the most delicious pie he had ever tasted. And it kept refilling itself, so Mart ate and ate and ate until he felt sick. When he took off the goggles, everything looked normal again. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and the grass was growing. Mart felt terrible. He ran back home, threw up in the bushes, and raced inside. His grandpa was taking the pie out of the oven. Hey, Grandpa, he said weakly. "Do you think I can?" "I don't know. Maybe lay down for a bit." "Are you feeling all right?" his grandpa asked. "I don't know," Mart replied. "I feel kind of tired." "You need some rest," his grandpa said. "Why don't you lie down in your room and I lines bring you a slice of pie?" So Mart climbed into bed and closed his eyes. His grandpa entered the room carrying a plate of pie. But instead of setting it on his bedside table, he put it on his stomach and started tickling him. "Grandpa, stop it," Mart giggled. "You're gonna wake me up. That's the point," his grandpa said with a twinkle in his eye. You need to sleep so you can be strong and healthy again. And sure enough, Mart fell fast asleep. He dreamed he was skating down a sidewalk. The houses looked like gingerbread men, the trees looked like candy canes, and the birds looked like lollipops. What? He gasped. Was this another magical world? He reached out and grabbed a bird lollipop. It tasted like blueberry pie. And then he realized it wasn't a bird at all. It was a pie, a giant pie. How could this be? He asked. He looked down and saw that he was made of pie, too. So Mart rolled himself down the sidewalk. 1 bite, 2 bites, 3 bites. It was the most delicious pie he had ever tasted, and then he woke up. "Good morning, sleepyhead," his grandpa said. Time for breakfast. Mart sat up in bed and rubbed his eyes. "Where's the pie?" he asked. "Right here," his grandpa said. He picked up the plate and handed it to him. "But it looks the same as yesterday," Mart said. "Oh, you mean the one you ate?" "What?" his grandpa asked, confused. "You never told me you already ate a slice of pie last night," Mart said. "I thought I dreamed it," his grandpa replied. "Well, let's pretend you dreamed it," Mart said. "And pretend I didn't eat any pie last night. I promise I won't sneak into the kitchen anymore." "Really?" his grandpa asked. "Really?" Mart said. So they ate their pie and pretended like nothing happened. After breakfast, his grandpa gave him the goggles. "Here you go," he said. "You can keep them." "Thanks, Grandpa," Mart said. He put the goggles on his face and looked through them. Everything looked magical. "These are great," he said. "They make everything look like a dream." "That's right," his grandpa said. "Dreams can be fun and exciting, but they're not real. Only what we experience ourselves is real." "I'm sorry I went to sleep last night," Mart said. "It would have been better if I had stayed up and waited until you finished baking the pie. It was the best pie I've ever tasted." "No need to be sorry," his grandpa said. "Sometimes it's good to sleep. You grow stronger and healthier that way. Now let's go out and enjoy the beautiful day." So they stepped outside. Everything looked magical. The houses looked like gingerbread men, the trees looked like candy canes, and the birds looked like lollipops. "What?" Mart gasped. Was this another magical world? Then he remembered his goggles. He slipped them on his face and looked around. Whoa, everything looked fun and exciting. "Let's go to the park," his grandpa suggested. So they headed to the park where Mart learned an important lesson. Dreams can be fun and exciting, but only what we experience ourselves is real. And sometimes what seems like a dream turns out to be a wonderful reality.